Taking its time. Right, so good evening, everyone. Welcome to the first meeting of the planning committee for the new civic year. 22-25 procedures, there's public.
Just a basic run through, if you can remember.
I'll do my best. So if there is a fire, please go out to that door there, and the assembly place is then in the town marketplace. Please don't use the lift, and hopefully we won't need it. So first item on the agenda is the election of chair for this committee for the ensuing year. I would like to nominate Councillor Tom Buckley for the role. Do I have a seconder?
I'm happy to second.
Oh, actually, we have two seconders.
Or you seconding.
Whichever. Do we have any other nominations? See none, all in favour? Lovely. Unanimous, very nice. Right, so normally I'd vacate the seat, but as Tom isn't here, now we're trying to appoint a vice chair. So again, I shall nominate from the chair, Councillor Thomas.
I'm happy to second that.
Thank you, Councillor Dodds. Do I have any other nominations? I see none, all in favour? Splendid, Councillor Thomas.
Thank
Seat is
you.
yours.
Oh, knock it out.
Whoa. There's a left Lawrence all over on his own, but this is
Hello. Right. Right, let's move on then to item number 3 on the agenda, which is apologies for absence. Do we have any this evening?
We have apologies from councillors Buckley, Jackson and Rowlands.
Thank you. And item number 4 is declarations of interest. Do we have any this evening? No, I see none. Thank you. So let's move on to item number 5, which is minutes. The first part of 5 is to approve the minutes of the planning committee, which was held on the 7th of May. I'd like to propose that from the chair. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Plant, thank you. Any other comments? Okay, all those in favour? Thank you, that's carried. And 2 of 5 is to receive and consider the draft notes and recommendations of the Climate Emergency Working Group held on the 24th of April. No. Okay, all those in favour? Thank you, that's carried. Item number 6 is public participation. And this is the part of the meeting where we hand over to members of the public who have come to speak. Would you like to raise your hand if you do want to speak this evening? Okay, who'd like to go first? If you just state your name and which item you're speaking to, you've got 2 to 3 minutes. Thank you. Okay.
So Kate Gatlin, Longman's House.
Stand. We'll be able to hear you a bit better, I think.
Sorry.
People tend to project better than they. Yeah. Go ahead. Okay. Thank you.
So yeah, Kate Gatlin regarding Longman's House, Park Street. So this is our 3rd application for work to the house. It was all items part of the pre-app the previous year. So there's 3 parts I suppose to consider. One is work to the annex at the back, which is planned for the pre-app, taking out some interesting mezzanines and work that had happened previously. Looking to put a conservatory extension on the back. That's slightly different to the pre-app in that it's taken design from both of the proposals in there and comments given back as part of that. And really trying to make a lighter, more transparent structure that would give a lighter touch to where it's coming into contact with the fabric of the house. And then the courtyard at the back. So we've taken on advice from a garden designer and arboriculturist in terms of work to be done to further enhance the situation for the yew trees at the back, and ultimately developing a garden, so it's still like a corporate car park at the moment, and then also developed the design in terms of in the pre-app where we're moving the outhouses, and so there's more information on that as well.
Okay, thank you. Any councillors, any questions at all? No?
No, I thought you did well for actually giving most of the pre-app advice. The pre-app advice is about most expensive I've seen in a long time. So
Yeah.
relatively complicated.
Spent a lot of time
Yeah.
to sort of
No, you can see that.
take it on and get the correct advice.
Yes, you can see the application. Yeah.
Okay,
Model.
well, thank you very much. Thank you for coming along. Hello.
Hi, Michael McGowan, I'm talking to the application related to 13 Marley Road.
Okay.
It's an application for an extension to their property, rising up over to two stories above ground floor level and overlooking my property at 15 Marley Road. The original application that went in squarely overlooked my source of natural light, my rear extension. I'm kind of cut out light things completely to that, and leave my house in darkness. I've spoken in quite a lot with the applicant, the applicant's architect, and initially they said they didn't realise that I had those lights, and hence the application on that basis. And so they realised that the impacts on my property, and gone away, moved the extension along somewhat, submitted an amendment to the application. But frankly, I'm none the wiser. And in my discussions with the architect and the applicant, I said, well, thank you for doing what you can, but I still don't know what the impact on me is going to be from this development. At the end of the day, it is still a two-storey building overlooking mine. And if you can please demonstrate to me that that impact is gone away, mitigated, then I'm on your side, but you haven't done so. Regardless of that, they put in the application anyway, with no indication of what the impact would be, how the impact would be mitigated, any indication of how the source of light would be affected or otherwise. Also on the application drawings I've got in, I only spotted last night, I brought to the attention of the planning authority that there's an inconsistency in that the first floor elevation plan shows a window at the rear of the property. The rear elevation plan doesn't show the window, and that window actually looks right down into my property through the skylight. There's no, I don't know anything about the window. There's no indication of how big it is, whether it's opaque or anything basically. So I think my central theme is that there's the lack of information really on the amended application, which, as I said at the start, it left me none the wiser, and I'm just facing a two-storey property that's going to impact me.
Any questions, councillors?
Can I just clarify what window you're referring to? What elevation is it?
On this.
Yeah, on
Yeah, sure. So so on the application drawings, there's the first floor elevation drawing,
yeah,
and at the rear end of that, where the extension out will be, you can see the actual indication of a window there.
okay.
That looks down over my property. Then if you look up to the rear elevation drawing, where you would expect to see that window and the location and size of it, and what I do, there's nothing there.
Thank you, thank you.
Just one more question for me. The way the sun comes round, so you're here, they're here, and the sun is coming around here, right? That's the way it is. It's not the other way around.
So I don't know if it's right. That's a question. But
So it goes from Reading Road. It starts at number 1 and goes up that way, or are you going across?
it's the other way for me. So in the morning it's over there.
Right.
I'll come around, and by 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon it's here,
Yeah.
and it's on my skylight, or into my skylight.
Right.
Obviously it's high at the moment.
Yeah.
And yeah, so as the afternoon comes around 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, it's kind of there where the extension would be.
Yeah. Okay.
That's where I work, relying on what the light comes through.
Okay. Any other questions? No? Okay, thank you so much for coming along. Thank
Thank
you. Okay, let's move on to item 7 on the agenda. In fact, should we do all these appointments after?
Yeah.
After we've done plans? Should we do that? Because just to explain the next part, because it's the start of the civic year, we've got quite a lot of standard business to get through. And so what we're going to do for you is we'll just put a quick vote to going straight to item 12 on the agenda, which is plans amended. Can we have a vote that we're all happy to do that?
Followed by 13, if you want.
And followed by 13 as well, which is plans new. Yeah, okay, all in favour? Thank you. Okay, so with that in mind then, let's turn to page 15. Which is, councillors, we're looking at P24 S0967. It's a householder application for 13 Marmion Road. This is an amended application. I'm going to turn to Jodie for her comments.
Thank you. Yes, so this is an amended application. We recommended refusal last time due to the impact on the neighbouring property. Amendments have gone some way to address the concerns. The first floor extension has been repositioned away from the neighbouring property number 15. But unfortunately on the plan says no 45-degree. It doesn't show that it meets the 45-degree rule in terms of light and impact on that neighbour.
Yeah,
Thank you.
councillor Plant.
Yeah, I recommend refusal. Having chatted to Councillor Jackson, the lines aren't on there because it doesn't meet it to the rear window or the skylight. So the architect hasn't done it because he knows he has gone part way but not far enough. Which, yeah, I commend them for doing that, but it's still detrimental to the neighbour's lifestyle. It's unneighbourly and it's an overdevelopment. So sort of reiterate the original points of refusal.
Okay, thank you. So that's seconded.
That's seconded.
Councillor Hunt, thank you. Would any other councillor like to speak? Okay, all those in favour of refusal? Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you. You don't have to stay if you don't want to, by the way. We totally understand if you want to go. Thank you. So let's move on to plans new, which is on page 17. And Longlands is. Can we bring that right at the end? Can we bring that back?
39 Hart Street.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, it's quite far down. So councillors, should we bring this forward? Yeah. Okay, all those in favour, thank you. So let's look at P24 S1404. It's a listed building application, and let's take it together with the one above, which is P24 S1403, which is the householder application for 39 Hart Street. Jodie.
Thank you. Yeah, I've got quite a lot to say on this.
Yeah.
So it's quite a complex application on a grade 2 listed building. This is an important and very visible building within the town centre and within the conservation area. As we've heard, they have received pre-application advice and have been looking at ways to deal with those issues raised by the Heritage Officer mainly in that advice. So they're proposing to remodel the house, and there's a single-storey extension to the rear and repositioning of the outbuildings are the main points that I was going to look at. And they're seeking to regularize some of the things that have done previously without permission. So the extension that's proposed is a conservatory and it's glazed to allow for the main building to still be legible. The Heritage Officer requested that the footprint of the extension was reduced. This hasn't been done, but I can't see that there's an overly detrimental impact on the listed building. But it'll be down to the Heritage Officer at SADC. And they also stated in the pre-app that the existing outbuildings are not of historic interest and they wouldn't have any objection to their removal, but highlight that there's been previous decisions refused for the construction of buildings to the rear. They wanted to see the outbuildings being modest, a single story lightweight. The outbuilding is larger than what was there previously. So again, that will depend on the heritage officer. The county archaeological services have requested a conditional if the scheme's permitted, and the forestry officer is seeking some information due to some discrepancies between the design and access statement and the cultural assessment. Those were my main comments on that.
Okay, all right, thank you. Councillor Plant.
Really extensive. I actually think the applicant's gone a long way to meet a lot of the pre-app advice, which is pretty good considering how extensive it was.
18 pages, I think it was. wasn't
Yeah, it was huge, yeah. And you know, I think as much as having read it and, you know, our expertise, I'd much rather leave it in the hands of the heritage officer along with the arboricultural and say, like, I think they've gone as far as they can to meet planning requirements, and we leave it in their hands to approve it from there. So happy to go for approval subject to heritage, which we'll have to go the whole hog with anyway. Same as the arboricultural. So as long as they are met, I see no problems with the application. It's going to be a complicated one to assess as it goes, but I actually think they've gone a long way to improve some of the things that have been done to the building in the past. And I actually think the rear extension, again, even though the conservatory is quite large, I actually think it's quite tasteful to the design anyway. So,
Is that seconded? Councillor Hunt, thank you. Would any other councillor like to speak? Yes, Councillor Dodds.
This is huge, going through all these applications and drawings. And I know we're just looking at the conservatory and all of that, and council plants covered that really quite well. But going through all that was here to look at, there were a few things that I would just like to mention. I know that there's enforcement action on the unauthorised part of the building, the roof terrace and things. It would be really nice to see if that was progressed more speedily. The living wall, again, which I read in here, is either the watering system wasn't installed properly or it's not working properly, and it's actually not doing the building much good at all. So I'm sure you're going to be addressing that situation as well. I'm surprised the almshouses, municipal charity, haven't responded at all because they're bang up against you. That's just an observation. I'm surprised. And the other thing, I personally can't stand plastic grass. Good. So if they could be persuaded to have proper grass, that would be very nice. Those are my observations, but the application I know isn't for that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, any other comments? Okay, let's put this to the vote then. The proposal is for approval subject to the conservation and agricultural officer. All those in favour? Okay, that's unanimous. Good luck with your going forward, because as you know, we're not planning authority, so all the best to you.
Is that both of them? Is that listed building?
Yes, we take them together, yeah. Okay, so let's go to the top of plans new now, which is
It is, yes.
so the first one on plans new is P24 S0991. It's a full application for 151 Reading Road. Jodie.
Yes, so this is within the conservation area. It's quite heavily extended already. They're proposing to convert the loft, and that goes out quite far. There's no immediate neighbour to the southeast, but there could be an impact on the conservation area. It's also within the Article 4 land, so we need to consider the impact on the building and the conservation area. It will be seen, although it's from the rear along Reading Road. The materials are proposed to be matched. The heritage office, there's no heritage officer being consulted on it, so.
Because it's not a listed building.
No, but it is in the
Conservation
area.
area. Okay. Okay, any observations, proposals, councillor Plants?
Yeah, I see no real problem with it. Propose approval.
Neither do I.
Okay, seconded, yeah. Would any other councillor like to speak?
I'm concerned about the overdevelopment and the impact on the conservation area given it can be seen, but I don't feel that that should necessarily stop it. If we're as a group are not convinced it's that detrimental.
It's not one of the picturesque areas of the conservation.
It's all in one ownership, presumably, isn't it? Both flats.
Well, it's going to be converted, it's not two flats yet.
Is it not two flats yet? I think it was
It's
always
the one flat at the moment, isn't it?
It's two flats and he's adding, turning one bed into two beds.
The application
That's
said,
the way I read
yeah.
it. Yeah, so it's
Okay.
two flats now.
Okay.
So it's an sole owner, presumably wants to turn one bed into two beds.
It's a very picturesque one here, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've all been quite,
It's on a corner, isn't it?
It's on the corner, so it's down the side.
they've all been quite happy.
They've all, that
they've all
road,
done it,
it's
yeah.
kind of, yeah, it's all quite overdeveloped, isn't it, really? Okay, well, let's put this to the vote then. All those in favour of approval? All those against? Okay, that's carried. Thank you. Okay, the next one is P24 S1043. It's a listed building application and it's for 4 Fairmile. Now, is it me or is it, did this come up last week?
Yes.
At the last planning meeting? Because they've got separated, right? So the householder one was at the last one and now this is the listed building
It
one
is.
coming through.
Yeah. So we recommended approval last
Oh,
time,
dear.
subject to the heritage.
Yes,
officer.
subject to the, yes.
So they are saying there's insufficient information in the heritage statement to define the significance of the building. So they're recommending refusal currently.
Right.
So that's why it's important to have that.
Okay, so
That's why we are.
it's up to you. You can have some entertainment for the planning meeting if you want to.
Yeah, that's.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch the last sentence. I got a bit distracted there. Would you mind saying the last sentence?
So I was just said the importance of adding the comment subject to the heritage officer, because in these cases, they've come back and said there's an issue with the information submitted.
Right, okay. Your councillor Plant.
I think we stick by original statement. We've still got to meet heritage, which is exactly what heritage have come back and said. They don't believe we've got this one wrong. If heritage get the information that they require, they'll approve it also. So stick with it.
Okay, is that seconded?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, would any other councillor like to speak? Okay, so all those in favour of approval, subject to the heritage officer. Thank you, that's carried. Okay, let's take the next two together, which is P24 S1229 for advertising consent 20 Marketplace, and just below P24 S1231, which is listed building consent again for 20 Marketplace. Jodie.
Yeah, so this is for the new Piccolino's restaurant. It's an advertisement consent. We've already dealt with full planning permission for the internal works. So they're proposing externally illuminated individual letters on the fascia, on the back and front elevations, and one externally illuminated hanging sign. So that's using spotlights. The design guide states that illumination of fascias and hanging signs is not encouraged in historic town centres. And it should be low key and discreetly positioned where it's used.
And I thought as well that the design guide mentions that it should be wood where possible, and the materials are all aluminium and steel.
It should be traditionally material.
Okay, so yes, councillor.
Recommend refusal on the grounds that because of these spotlights, frankly.
Doesn't mean the shop design.
Doesn't mean the shop
Shop
design
design
guide, and if every shop did that, it would be enough then.
Yeah, okay, so that's seconded. Councillor Plant, thank you. Do any other councillor like to speak?
Yeah, just our
Yes.
preference for design code rather than shop front design code, because that's.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Excuse me, we're actually in a meeting at the moment, sorry. Okay, so I've lost my train of thought now. So, yeah, so we've got a proposal for refusal. Would any other councillor like to speak? Okay, all those in favour of refusal? Thank you. And you've got the planning reasons as well, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Discuss the next one, because
Yeah, so, yeah, I was just about to say, so P24 S1310 is advertising consent for 36 Marketplace. And as Henley Town Council is the applicant, we won't be discussing it this evening.
Declared an interest earlier.
Actually, we should
done.
declare an interest, shouldn't we? Yeah. Okay, and the last one on this agenda item is P24 S1415. It's a householder application for 111 Reading Road. Jodie.
Thank you. So the plan fails to show how the first floor extension meets the 45-degree rule. So it could have some adverse impact on 109 Reading Road. That was my only comment on that. Thank you.
Okay, councillors, any proposals? Yes, councillor Plant.
I think for consistency tonight, I'd like to see them come back with that rule met. But apart from that, I don't see any problems as long as it meets that. So refusal subject or till they provide that.
Okay, so that's seconded. Councillor Hunt, thank you. Would any other councillor like to speak? Okay, all those in favour of refusal? Thank you, that's carried. Right, so let's get back to the items on the agenda which we decided to postpone. So, yeah, sorry, we're going to speak, yeah. So item number 7 is appointment of subcommittees, their terms of reference and memberships. So let's turn to page 11. Any papers? Okay. Right, so the first one is we've got the planning committee subcommittee. Are all councillors happy with the with how that's laid out for the planning committee subcommittees? We've got the neighbourhood plan committee. First of all, should we take a vote that that's all as it should be?
I'll probably take them on mass unless anyone's got any objections to any.
Would you like to do that? Okay, well, let's just do the membership first then. So we've got the neighbourhood plan committee and the transport strategy group. All those in favour?
Could I please ask to be added to the transport strategy group?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I'll be happy with that. Are there other councillors happy with that? Okay, all those in favour? Yeah, thank you. You'll be a welcome addition. Thank you. And let's now move on to the terms of reference, which you can find on pages 12 for the neighbourhood plan committee and on pages 13 and 14 for the transport strategy group. If councillors are happy, let's put this to the vote. All those in favour? Thank you, that's carried. Okay, just flipping back to the agenda again. That was a huge agenda, isn't it? Unlike the finance one, which is coming next. Okay, so we've done number 7. The next one is number 8, which is the election of chair for the neighbourhood plan committee. From the chair, I'd like to propose councillor Plant as our chair for the next civic year.
I'll second.
Yeah, okay, thank you, councillor Hunt. Any other nominations? No, I see none, so all those in favour? Thank you, councillor Plant.
Well volunteer, like. Yeah.
And next we have number 9, which is election of the vice chair for the neighbourhood plan committee. And in his absence, I'd like to propose from the chair that councillor Tom Buckley take this position. Thank you, councillor Plant. Do we have any other nominations? No, I see none. So all those in favour of councillor Buckley? Thank you. I doubt very much he's watching online, but okay, so moving on to number 10, we've got the election of chair for the transport strategy group. Again, in his absence, I'd like to nominate councillor Gavishak. Is that seconded, councillor Plant? Thank you. Any other nominations? No, okay, all those in favour of councillor Gavishak taking the chair? Thank you, that's unanimous. And again, election of vice chair for the Transport Strategy Group. I'd like to invite councillor Payne to take vice chair.
Yes, I'm very happy.
Thank you very much. And do I have a seconder? Councillor Hunt, have a look. We've got some seconders. Thank you. No other nominations then? Okay, all those in favour? Thank you. Okay, thanks. That concludes that part of the agenda. We've covered plans amended, we've covered plans new. So let's move to 14, which is objections to calling applications. Do we have any this evening? No, I see none. Thank you. So let's move on to item 15, which is decision notices. It's just to receive and note the decisions that have come from the planning authority, and that's on page 19. We've just got one refusal there, which is the advertising retrospective lead dot rolling sign in 13 Station Road. Okay, all noted. Thank you. Thanks. And item 16 is to note the withdrawn applications. We've got the Henley Bridge. I presume that's the lights proposal, is it? The listed building consent, okay. And the full one for Henley Bridge, okay. I'm still slightly bemused by that one, but never mind. Right, and item 17 is the progress report for applications called in. Do we have any updates for that? That's on page 21.
So yeah, the Henley Bridge lights can come off because that's been withdrawn.
Yeah.
NatWest was approved application.
Oh, was
Is
it?
it?
Oh, was it close?
It was the deciding vote.
Casting vote.
Casting vote.
Really?
That Tame councillor again, is it?
Yeah.
Evidently.
Lived in,
Yeah,
Right.
so that can be removed from the list. We have no other.
he's turning into a councillor Bloomfield, he is.
So,
Right. Thank you. Cornerstones. And got the nationwide, oh, that was just the last planning meeting, wasn't it? Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Agenda item 18. Which is the progress report for this committee. Yes, councillor, sorry, Kath Adams.
Thank you, Chair. I've just got a very brief verbal update on the traffic and pedestrian survey item at the top of the progress report.
Yeah.
I had some further information back from the highways consultants, and I'm looking to bring a report to the next planning committee on this. I've taken some advice from OCC, and I think councillors should decide exactly how they'd like to proceed with this work, because I think it's all adding up to being quite a lot more expensive than we were initially lending. So I think that I need to bring that back to for the 11th of June.
Okay, right, thank you. And I've got an update for the last item, which is Henley Manor Care Home, which is to reinstate the path, which has been added to, well, they'd like to add it to the designated map of Oxfordshire County Council. So I emailed all the interested parties with the name of the person at Hallmark Care Homes, which is the company that owns Henley Manor, with a name, and I've just been met by tumbleweed, complete silence. So that's the officer at Oxfordshire County Council who made out the order, his assistant, the planning officer who's been overseeing this, who is a senior planning officer, and Councillor Arlett, South Oxfordshire District Councillor, and Councillor Hinton, South Oxfordshire District Councillor, who said that she would kindly take this on as well. So at the moment, I'm afraid, after 2 weeks, I've had nothing back. So I'll keep pressing on. And on that note, I'd like to conclude the meeting. Thank you so much for your contributions.
Thank you, Jo.
Thank you.
Thank you.